Hello and welcome to Life as It Is with me, Dora Middleton. In today's segment, I would like to talk about, which I said I wouldn't touch this subject, but I've decided to talk about it anyway, is the Kobe Bryant and Gale King situation. And the reason why I've decided to talk about it is because before I was saying, okay, words can never hurt anyone. You shouldn't really care about what anyone says about you. But I think with this particular situation, words hurt because when they were spoken, when Gale King did what she did, I think in a way she disrespected his wife and his family. They have a lot that they're dealing with right now. His wife lost her husband and her daughter. And the fact that he had that situation in his past with this rape or assault or whatever way it went, that had nothing to do with anything. I don't believe that. I really don't feel that she should have brought it up, period, at all. Why would you bring that up? Because now, everyone's talking about the good things that he did. They're talking about the fact that he was a good father, which it looks like he loved his children. Any of us could see that, and he was a good father to his children, a good good husband to his wife. So what would make a person turn around and go off the grid like that and start talking about an old court case? An old situation? Why would you take from the good things that people are talking about when they talk about Mr. Bryant? Why would you take away from that? Why would you do that and try to ruin this man's legacy? I mean, it's done before. Look at what happened with Bill Cosby. And I believe, and I have to say this, with the whole Bill Cosby situation, I don't believe those women. Some of those women have admitted to lying. And I think that people need to stop using rape as a way to come up on money, and that's probably what the girl did with his situation, and the fact that she waited and asked these questions and she's saying it's something that her network did. It could be. It could be the fact that her network set her up, gave her those questions to ask, turned around and set her up. It made her look like the fool because they aren't getting the backlash. She's getting it. She's getting the death threats. Then her friend Oprah comes out and says, well, she's not doing well, with all the threats that she's getting, all of the hate messages. Okay, well, you brought that on yourself, because if your network brought you those questions, number one, as a person, you have the right to say what you don't feel comfortable doing in any job. If a job puts you in a situation where you don't feel comfortable, you have the right to say, I can't do this. I just don't feel comfortable. This is something I just cannot do morally. Okay. She could have said, I'm not asking these questions. This has nothing to do with the situation at hand right now. I'm not asking these questions. And if her network wanted those questions asked, why didn't they do it when this man was alive, when he could defend himself? Why would they wait until he's gone? And in the midst of everyone grieving over this man and his daughter, why would you go off the grid and start talking about that particular situation? Why not talk about the good things that he did with his children, his family, sports? Why not talk about all that? Why would you choose a time like this to go in and try to ruin his legacy? And then you won't own it. And I talk about this a lot in my podcast. One thing I don't like is when people don't own what they did. And Gale King isn't owning what she did. You're throwing it on the network. Okay, you're a grown-ass woman. Okay, Gale King, you're a grown woman. You could have said, I'm not asking these questions. I'm not going to go there with this lady during this interview. This is something that doesn't have to be talked about. But she didn't do it. So obviously, Mrs. Gale King didn't have a problem with it. So she was okay with the line of questioning that they gave her. Okay. She was okay asking those questions, but she didn't think that everyone was going to react the way that they did, which, I really don't understand why she didn't think that they were going to react the way that they have been reacting. He was loved. A lot of people love that man, not just because of sports, because they said he was an overall good person. All I can say is she said it and she needs to own up to it. And I think that instead of saying how bad she's doing, stop putting your friend Oprah out there to tell people how bad you're doing and, how upset you are, because then you're making the situation even worse, because the first thing everyone's going to tell you, well, how do you think that wife feels, that mother feels when you've just thrown her husband and so, you put this spotlight everywhere on him in that situation. You're taking away from people being able to remember the good things about him, and you're bringing up that case. Why on earth would you do that? And then the fact that you don't even have the decency as a person to own what you did. If she really wanted to do something, all she had to do was say, okay, I was wrong. I was wrong. I did it. Don't even throw it on your network, because you could have stopped it. You could have told them, I'm not doing that. I can ask anything except that. I'm not touching that subject right there. But she didn't do that, which means she was okay with that line of questioning. I don't know if she felt that, it would help her in popularity or what, but it didn't help her. It hurt her. So you can't cry over it now. You can't, have people coming to try to defend you when you didn't have to do what you did. And the fact that Oprah feels she has to come in and defend this lady is just showing it, friend or not. I know if I have a friend and my friend did some shit like this, I would never defend her, because she should know better. She knew better. She's a grown woman. You knew not to do that. And then we as Black people allow people to have us doing ignorant things, very ignorant things. And as a Black person, I would have told my boss, I'm not doing that. I'm not asking those questions. It's not going to happen. Okay? Because I'm not comfortable asking those type of questions at a time like this. And then even after Miss Leslie answered her question, Gale King continued to go in like she wanted this lady to change her answer. And that really pissed people off. What are you doing? You weren't even willing to accept what she said. It's like you wanted her to say some bad things about this man. So you're not sorry. And that's why I tell people, I don't like when people tell me, oh, I'm sorry. I don't want your lies, because you're not sorry. You're only saying it because you think that's what the person want to hear. And I am really quick to tell people, do not apologize to me, because you don't mean it. You don't care, because you wouldn't have never done it. So I don't think the sorries are going to go well with people. And no one cares if she's not doing well, because she brought it on herself. So I have to sit here and say, I can't feel sorry for her, because she should have known better. We all have morals. At least we should. Some people have none. And at that moment, she showed that she didn't. Because if she had, she wouldn't have done what she did. You wouldn't have put that out there to where everyone's having this conversation. Gale King said this. Gale King said that about Kobe Bryant. Gale King and Oprah and this and that. Because you're taking away from time that could be spent talking about the good things that this man did. Talking about the good times he had with his family, just reminiscing on things that he did, that happy times. You took away from that. When you did your line of questioning, you took away from all of that, because there's so many videos out there now. And all you see is Gale King, Kobe Bryant, Gale King, Oprah Winfrey. You took away from the good things that people were talking about with this man. And you turned it into what it is now. And it turned on you. It turned on you. And I think that what Gale King needs to do is come out again and say that she accepts what she did. She accepts that it's wrong, that she's not going to blame it on her network, because as a person, as a grown woman, as a journalist, whatever the case may be, she knew what she was saying, and accept the fact that she was wrong. That's what she needs to say, that she will own what she did and she admits that it's wrong. Apologize to that man's wife and that man's children. You get up there and you do a video and you apologize for being wrong because of what you did, and stop throwing it on your network because it was you. I don't care what your network had you do. You should have told them you weren't doing it. You didn't have to. So even if they gave you those questions to ask, you could have turned it down. You could have said, I'm not doing that. I'm not asking. That's one subject I'm going to stay away from right now. I'm not going to get into that. Let everyone remember this man the way we all remembered him. You know, he was very good he was a great basketball player, a great father from what everyone's showing. You know, he loved his family. He loved his kids. That's where she should have left it. And now what she did is this messed with her legacy, if you ask me, because this is always going to follow her. Because one thing is what's put out there on video, what's put out there, well, what's put on the internet stays. So these videos are never going anywhere. They're always going to keep circulating. Everyone's always going to keep seeing the names that she's being called and the bad things that people are saying about her. This is her legacy. This is what's going to be brought up when it's her time. You know, when people are talking about her, this is what they are going to bring up. So not only did she mess with his legacy, she messed with her own. And I'm not sure if she's thought about that or if she even thinks that that's the way it's going to be, but that's definitely the way it's going to be. You cannot do that to people. You can't. And if you're going to do that to one person, why not everyone that's done the same thing? You can't pick and choose who you want to talk bad about. You just can't do that. You can't. And she's going to learn. If she has not learned after this situation, then she will never learn. Because if she goes out there and she does it again, I guess she's just who she is. You know, and no one wants to believe that she's a bad person. No one wants to believe. I think that some of us at the beginning was thinking, well, maybe this was a mistake. She didn't mean it. Maybe they forced her to say it. But you can't force no one to ask these questions. You just can't. Because if it's something you don't want to do, you're not going to do it. And if she told the network, I'm not comfortable with this, I cannot do this, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have forced her to do it. She should have demanded that they not even talk about that situation, period. It's a time and place for everything, and that definitely was not the place or the time for that subject. So I think that after this, maybe she's learned a lesson. I'm not sure. Some people don't. But I would really think after this, with all the threats and all the humiliation that she's dealing with right now, that hopefully she's learned her lesson. Because no one should want to go through what she's going through right now, because it's not pretty. I've read some of the things people are saying about her. I listened to it, and it's sad. But you brought it on yourself. No one can feel sorry for you because this is what you did. This was not necessary. You should have let this man and his legacy be at peace. Okay, let him rest in peace. You shouldn't have said anything bad where this man was concerned. It just shouldn't have happened. That interview should have been a happy interview. You should have been thinking about the good things, okay, that he did, the good moments he had. It was already a tragic situation what happened with him and everyone aboard that helicopter. But you turned around and you just focused in on something that had nothing to do with the subject at hand, nothing to do with anything, and you ran with it. But Oprah can't get you out of this situation. She can't. The only thing she's going to do is make people start talking about her, because they don't like the fact that Oprah's coming out and she's defending Gale like Gale didn't do anything wrong. The fact that she's saying Gale isn't doing well, no one cares. They don't care. No one cares because she was wrong. She was wrong. And she still hasn't come out and owned what she did. She's blaming it on the network. And I think that's what people are having a problem with. Don't blame it on the network. Just come out and say, I did this. I was wrong. I said it. It was not the time. It was not the place. It had nothing to do with anything. And I'm sorry. Will you accept my apology? I'm sorry. I will own the shit that I'm in. That's what she needs to do, but she won't do it. She's not doing that. She's blaming. She's playing the blame game. She's blaming her network. So until she admits that she did it, she had no reason to do it, that she was wrong, maybe they will get off her back the way that they are. Maybe people will forgive her, which I don't know. Because one thing about it is we have an issue as a Black race to where we are so quick to condemn one another that it's pathetic. I mean, we will give everyone a second chance, a third, a fourth, and a fifth chance. But when it's us and our people, we are the first ones to condemn each other. And that's exactly what she did. And she knew better. So I won't say that I feel sorry for her, because I don't. She knew better. And I told someone on my, he sent me a message and he was talking about what was going on in the media with Mr. Bryant and how people were bashing his name and saying things that they shouldn't be saying about him. And I was like, you can't worry about what people say about you. You can't control what people say about you. But the more I listened to what Gale King said, and then the fact that Oprah came out to protect her, it kind of pissed me off a little bit, because I'm like, she's not owning what she said. And with me, if I know I've said something, I own it. I have never been the type to say, well, I didn't say that, or someone else caused me to do this or that. No, you own your mistake. You own what you said. And I stand on that one thing right there. I stand on it. I tell people, you own it. You said it. You did it. Whatever you said, whatever you did, you own it. And you go from there. And by owning it, you apologize for what you did. Don't try to drag someone else in and say you did it because of them. No, you did it because you didn't have a problem with it, and you didn't think that people were going to react the way that they reacted. I would hope that you weren't looking for this type of reaction to get you up higher, to help with whatever you were doing with your own career. I would hope that you wouldn't have done that just to get yourself further up the ladder some kind of way. I mean, I would hope that no one would put themselves through that just to do that. I mean, people do, but I would hope she wouldn't be one of them. But whatever the case may be, until she owns it and accepts what she did and apologizes and tell people that she's willing to own what she said, and that she apologizes for saying it, it was a poor judgment when she did it, then she's still going to be getting these threats. They're going to be calling her everything but her name. So I think she needs to sit down and think about what she did and stop having her friends or Oprah come out and try to protect her, because Oprah can't protect her from what people have to say. They're going to say it regardless. What Oprah's doing is setting Oprah up to be attacked next with the vicious name calling and everything, because she's trying to defend her friend that won't even own what she said, and she won't own what she did. I know I wouldn't put myself in that situation. If I had a friend that did some shit like that, I would tell my friend, you better own it. You did it. You accept that you did it and you apologize and tell them you made a poor judgment. When you were asking those questions, you knew better and you shouldn't have done it. That's the only thing I think is going to change it if she own it, and she's not willing to own it. She's saying the network had her do it. So I think that I really believe until she owns it, this is what the outcome is going to be for her. All right, I need to take a brief break and I will be right back. Hello and welcome back to Life as It Is with me, Dora Middleton. Just to recap what I was talking about before my break, I had been talking about Gale King and Mrs. Gale King and Mr. Kobe Bryant and why she decided to ask the questions that she asked, and knowing that there is a time and place for everything. And this situation and that time and that place where she asked those type of questions was not the time and place. And I think that until Mrs. King stands up and says that she owns the line of questioning that she asked, that she did it is something she did and it was in poor judgment, and that she apologized for it and that she owns it, no one will ever forgive her. Because it seems like the only thing she's doing is saying, well, my network told me to ask. My network. Okay, but no one's looking. Your network, it was not the one sitting there talking to her. It was you. Okay, you were the one talking to her. You were the one doing the interview. So you should have known better. And morally, you should have told them, I don't agree with this. I'm not going to ask these questions. This lady is mourning. Mrs. Bryant is mourning the loss of her husband and her child. No one knows what she's feeling unless they've been through that. And why would you do that? Why would you give her something else to have to worry about and to be upset about? So yes, everyone is outraged because you knew better. Mrs. King knew better. And the fact that Oprah's trying to speak out for her is even worse. She's a grown woman. And as a grown woman, from one grown woman to another, this is what you need to do. You need to come out. You want to do a video? Come out. Don't start on that video by saying my network. Anything about your network. You do another video and you say, I will own what I said. I will own it. I said it. I said what I said. I stand on what I said, but it was the wrong time. It was the wrong place. Own it. But what she's doing right now is she's saying the network did it. She's not even standing by what she said. And it's like you're taking you're a coward. Mrs. King is a coward. You said it because you wanted to ask these questions because you wanted to ask. But you're too much of a coward to come out and say that that's the reason why you did it. You rather throw it on the network. You could have told the network, I'm not comfortable asking these questions. And you know why you didn't tell the network you weren't comfortable asking those questions? Because you were comfortable. You were okay with every question you asked. And when she answered you weren't even willing to accept the answer that she gave you. You wanted her to do what you were doing, and you were trying to ruin this man's legacy. And when she wouldn't help you do it, it seems like you got a little agitated because you went on to ask again. It kind of changed it up a little, but you still asked the question again. And she still answered you, okay, in the way that she should have answered you, in the way that she was only going to answer you. You weren't going to get this lady to say anything bad about him because she didn't have anything bad to say. And the fact that you allowed all of us to see you doing what you did, and how you allowed us to see that you got agitated because she would not feed into your nonsense, has made it even worse for you. That's why you're being dogged out over every platform out there. Everyone's talking about you. They're calling you out of your name. No one should be bullied. I have to say that. And I've always talked about people not bullying others. And she shouldn't be bullied. She shouldn't be called out of her name. I think that people should do the videos and ask her again, why the hell would you say that? Why won't you own it? That's what the video should consist of. Everyone just asking her, why would you say that? Why would you try to ruin his legacy and also turn around and ruin your own? Because that's exactly what she's done. She's ruined her own legacy because this will follow her forever. I don't think that she should be called out her name. I don't think that she should be bullied because I stand against bullies, period. I don't like it. But I can't feel sorry for her. I'm sorry. I can say that I don't like for anyone to be bullied, and that bullying is not a good thing. It really isn't. So I stand by that in saying I don't ever want anyone to feel like they're being bullied and talked about and shamed in some kind of way. But I cannot sit here and do any type of video protecting what she did. I can't say, well, she's sorry for it and she's this and she's that. She knows she was wrong. I can't say that. I can't agree with that because she doesn't know that she's wrong. Reason being, she's still out there saying her network had her do it, which means she's not owning her mistake. So I can't agree with what she's saying or what she's doing because she's not owning it. You cannot get past what you did until you own what you did. And right now, Gale King does not own what she did. She's still trying to sit it in the lap of her network. And until she tells all of us, okay, this is what I did wrong. I accept that I did this wrong, that it was in poor judgment. Please forgive me. I made a mistake when I did what I did, and I shouldn't have never brought up that situation at a time like this. Until she says that and then apologizes, no one's going to accept anything she's saying. And the fact that now her friend, again, Oprah, came out and decided to try to protect her makes it even worse because now people are even more angry because Oprah is trying to defend you by saying she's not doing well. Okay, the first thing everyone else is going to say, well, neither is his wife. She just lost two people, her husband and her daughter. She's not doing well either. So why would you say the things that you said? So I think the fact that Oprah came out trying to protect her made everything even worse. I think that she should have just sat back and let Gale King dig herself out of what she put herself in. She put herself in that hole, dig her way back out of it. And as a journalist, she should know you have to own what you say. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to say it, own it. Don't try to go around what you said and place blame on anyone else. Own what you said. I think that's what a lot of people have a problem doing in life today. We make these statements about people. We say things about people, but when the time comes, we don't want to own it when it's thrown back in our faces. And in all of my videos, I tell people, own what you say, own what you do. Even if you're wrong, you have to own it. Even if you did something that was in poor judgment, you said something in poor judgment, you have to own it. Okay, after you own it, then you apologize. But if you don't own it and you throw it on someone else and make up excuses to why you did it, then you're not owning it. You're just making yourself look stupid because we all saw what we heard. What we heard. You said it. We saw you saying it. Okay, so just own it. Stop throwing it on the network and own it, and then apologize. And see then how far you would get with the situation. See if people will kind of let up a little bit on what they're saying about you, how they're bashing you. But I still feel as a person, until you own what you did and accept that you were wrong, this is what's going to continue to happen to you. And again, as a black woman in power like her, that has a following like her, why would you get up there and do that? We have such a problem where we're so quick to condemn each other as a black race. but we forgive everyone else for everything that they've done to us. But we condemn each other. That needs to stop. And we do it every day. We are a race of people that are so judgmental when it comes to our own race, but we give everyone else a pass. She has never said anything out of the way about, really, she doesn't stand by what she's saying, because look at the other situation with the Harvey Weinstein. I mean, look at what he did. But are you out there ruining or trying to ruin his legacy? Are you out there bad-mouthing him? Are you asking him the questions? Why did you rape this person? Why did you fondle this person? Why did you do this? Why did you threaten her? Why did you do this? I mean, if you're going to do that, don't pick and choose who you want to do it to. And that's what she's done. That's what Oprah's done. Oprah spoke out so much about the whole Bill Cosby situation, just to turn around and say nothing about Harvey Weinstein. Why is that? Why is that? Because he was her friend. She's on pictures hugged up with him, because it seems like she feels he didn't do anything wrong, because you didn't speak out about it. Look at her, how she was going to do this movie on Russell Simmons. Okay, you were going to do the movie on Russell Simmons, and for some reason or another, you pulled out. Now, why did you pull out? You pulled out because you knew what you did with the whole Michael Jackson situation when you did that movie. And you didn't want your name associated with this one with Russell Simmons, is why you say you pulled out, because things weren't adding up. People weren't being honest. The women weren't seeming like they were being honest. But the people with Michael Jackson they weren't really honest either, but you still put your name on that. And I think you learned from doing that to where you didn't want to be a part of it. You started to be a part of it with Russell Simmons, but then you backed out because you knew what you had done with Michael Jackson. See, people have got to think about what they're doing before they do it. You know what I'm saying? And I think Oprah thought about, okay, I made a mockery of myself when I stood behind that whole Michael Jackson story. I'm not going to get up here and do the same thing with Russell Simmons. So she pulled out, and she said she didn't want her name associated with anything they were talking about, because she had seen things that was not adding up about what the women were saying. But I think she could have seen the same thing with the whole Michael Jackson movie that she did. She knew that things didn't add up there, but she still did it. And you mess with his legacy as well. And just to touch base on that situation, you have all of these parents out here. And that's something I really do want to touch on. You have these parents out here. You have the kids that was spending time with Michael Jackson at Netherlands. The parents, I watched some of the interviews where the parents said, I was in another room. One mother said, I used to listen to through the door, go to the door and listen. And it was just Michael having fun with my son, and they're laughing and playing. And I had a big smile on my face. Then all of a sudden you decide, okay, well, I think he fondled my child and this and that. But why was your child in there? Okay, you were his mother. You had a duty to, protect your child. Why was he in the room closed up with a grown man is what I want to know. Why were you listening at the door instead of going in there saying, oh, this is my child. He's not sleeping in the room with a grown man. Why was he even sleeping over at this man's house anyway? Okay, that's the problem I'm having with this. That's why when these people came out and said, well, he touched our children, this, that, and the other, I can't believe it. I personally can't. I can't sit here and tell anyone else they shouldn't believe it. I'm the type of parent. My children were never allowed to go and spend any nights with anyone because I don't trust anyone like that. And I definitely didn't want anyone coming over to my house because I don't want anyone accusing anything or anyone in my house of doing anything, even though I know the people in, my family isn't like that. But people do some ignorant things. People these days, they're after money. And they will say anything to get money. So I think people need to stop putting themselves in these situations, and all of these parents that's gold digging and that's using their children to make money off of these celebrities. They're basically selling their daughters for sex. I mean, they're doing everything. And then they want to come back and they want to sue. They want to sue the person when you were in on it. So what are you suing for when you were in on it? Everything that happened, you knew. Okay, you knew not to leave your teenage girls with Mr. Kelly. You knew not to leave your teenage boys at the Neverland Ranch. These are grown men. Why? Well, this is a grown man. Why the hell would you want to leave your kids with any grown man? And I'm not just talking about Michael Jackson. I'm talking about people in general. Why the hell would you leave your child anywhere with any grown man or grown woman if these are kids? Why are you allowing them to spend nights with these grown ass people? I don't give a damn who it is. It shouldn't have happened. It was nothing wrong with going to Netherland, enjoying the beautiful sight, or enjoying whatever the little amusement park he had there, or the little animals or whatever he had there. It was nothing wrong with you going with your child and you guys enjoying all that together. But I think when you start allowing your kids to live with others or stay over with others, and these are adults, like we can go back even further. Usher, his mom allowed him to live with a couple of people. I think P. Diddy, Babyface, or whomever. Why the hell would you do that? Why would you do that? You have all of these little boys and little girls that were trying to get into the entertainment business, and their parents was so gung-ho about, okay, my kids, they stand a chance of being this big celebrity, this star. I'm just going to let whoever asks if they can stay with them, just they can stay as long as they get out there and get popular and get their music or their acting or whatever going. And then they find out, I think they molested my child. Okay, I think that your ass need to be held responsible for that. Because I don't give a damn what it is or who it is. My children will not be left alone with not a soul. Because I know me, and I don't trust anyone that much to leave my kids with a damn person. And even though they're all up in age or teenagers or grown up now, I still don't, that's something I still don't do. I mean, why would you do that? You're setting yourself up, you're setting your kids up, because you only know what a person is, what they tell you. You can assume you know them. They're going to show you, I'm this good person. I don't do this. I don't do that. That's what they're showing you. But you really don't know who you're dealing with. Okay? And again, as a grown up, I think that people need to learn. Stop allowing people to drop their children off at your home, because you don't know what's on that child's parents' mind. These days, when people meet people with money, they see dollar signs and they're thinking, how can I get some of that money? And you never know what they might try on you. You never know. And I just wanted to touch base on that, because it's going back to the situation. I'm just saying people need to parent better. Just parent better. Do things better. We all fault everybody for our wrongdoing. And it go, like I said, Gale King can't fault anyone, just like the parents can't fault these people for what they did. You put your kids in that situation. They were wrong, true enough. Anyone that does wrong to kids need to be under the jail. They were wrong. But you should be right there next to them in the jail cell, because you allowed it, because you saw dollar signs. Just like I think in this situation with Gale King, she saw dollar signs. She saw maybe upping herself up the ladder a little higher. So she was okay throwing Mr. Bryant under the bus. She was okay trying to ruin his legacy. She was okay with the line of questioning, because she thought that Miss Leslie was going to actually agree with her and say something just so terrible that it was just going to go through the roof, that it was just going to be the big talk about. Gale King interviewed Miss Leslie, and she said this about Kobe Bryant. She said that. Oh, it didn't turn out that way, because she answered the way she should have answered. She answered you the correct way, and you tried to force her to say something she wasn't going to say. that wasn't true, and now you've ruined yourself. So deal with it. So I'm through talking about Mrs. King because she brought it on herself. And like I said, as a black person, we all need to get it together. Stop condemning each other. Okay? Stop condemning each other and letting everyone else go with the past, because that's what she's done. She's never thrown Mr. Weinstein under the bus. She's not going to do it because he's Oprah's friend, for one. Oprah's hugged up with him on so many pictures. So Oprah was so quick to talk out and speak up about Bill Cosby, but she's not saying a word about Harvey Weinstein. Reason being because she doesn't think he did anything wrong. She feels he's okay. Okay? And you shouldn't want anyone to come and speak on your behalf that is already pissed off her race because of the way she's done things with the Cosby situation and the Weinstein situation. So the fact that Oprah came out and tried to talk on your behalf, I think, Ms. King, it messed you over even more because no one wants to hear what she has to say either. Okay, because she's already wronged her own race herself. So before having your friends come out and try to defend you, make sure that they're not dealing with their own shit and that they haven't messed around their race the way she did and the way she handled things to where now they're going to be talking about both of you. And in saying that, I don't have anything else to say about the situation. I know people might not like the way that what I've said. Some people might, like I said, I get a lot of people that tell me they love the things I talk about, and some people just don't agree with what I'm saying, which is okay because everyone is not always going to agree with you. And I don't mind getting your feedback on how you feel about what I've said, because of course we have to agree to just disagree. So I'm okay with that. If you disagree with what I'm saying, that's fine. Everyone has their own opinion, but my opinion with the whole Oprah Winfrey, Gale King, and Mr. Kobe Bryant is Gale King just needs to own it, accept the fact that she said it, accept the fact that this is something she dug her own hole, and now she has to dig herself out of it. And I feel that until she stands on what she said and acknowledge that this is her fault, this backlash that she's getting is because it's her fault. She asked the questions. Until she owns the fact that she did this and then apologize for what she did, things will never get better for her. And I'll end it on that note. I would like to thank you all for joining me, Dora Middleton, on Life as It Is. And until next time, take care.